So what's going on, guys? I'm BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Samantha, but more specifically Eddie and his childhood. Where is he right now in the Cold War Zombie storyline? Because in season 3 we got some brand new intel that talks about the boy. We believe him to be Eddie. We also heard about him at the beginning of season 3 where potentially he could be dead. So I'm going to compile all of the old stuff and the new intel we have so I can bring you guys up to date with everything we know so far about Eddie, or RICHTOFEN. Anyway, so we have two new documents. These are both a part of the Maxis intel, and they are extracts from her diary. We know at this current moment in time when she's writing this, she is currently locked up in Requiem HQ. She is under supervision, so while she's there, she's writing notes in her diary. And the first thing she says is this: Quarantine Diary 1. I'm writing it down, not because I don't know what happened, but so that others will. My name is Maxis, Samantha Maxis. I know you're reading this, Weaver, and I know you feel the same guilt I do about the boy. I promised I would keep him safe, but we both failed him. The last thing I expected was for you to move on as quickly as you did. The operation should never have happened. If I had known the steps you would take, I would not have told you the location. The house was supposed to be safe. We both feel guilt, but I will always blame myself more than you. So there's an awful lot to break down there, but before we do, there is a second diary entry from her where she writes, I am not disappointed, I'm just angry. After everything I've done, you still don't trust me. I've been damned before and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. Do you even remember when we first met? Sometimes I do, but other times it seems more like a dream. All I know for sure is that it was a war zone, one that I feared I would never be able to escape. In some ways, I'm glad you didn't clear me for field ops. Yes, I know it was you, because I don't ever want to go back. So there's a ton of interesting stuff in here. I don't really know where to start. I guess at the main point, which is the boy. Now we've heard her, and actually not only her, Weaver as well, talk about the boy previously. From everything that we've heard about him before, it only makes sense that this boy is Eddie, the child version of RICHTOFEN, and from the sounds of it, he's dead, or at least that's what Samantha and Weaver believes. Personally, in the back of my mind, I'm kind of holding out because Eddie is such a big character. I don't think they just kill him off in intel, so maybe somewhere later on down the line there's going to be a twist. But from what we can gather, from what Samantha's saying, he's dead. She says, Weaver, I know you feel the same guilt about the boy as I do. I promised I would keep him safe, but we both failed. The last thing I expected was for you to move on as quickly as you did. The operation should never have happened. If I'd have known the steps you would take, I would not have told you the location. The house was supposed to be safe. Where have we heard about the house in the zombie storyline before? That was Dr. Monty's house, which was located in the ether. So that's a strange one because Cold War Zombies takes place after Black Ops 4. At the end of the Black Ops 4 storyline, the last map tagged Toten, in that final ending cutscene we saw Eddie and Samantha walk off as children into the light, into the Cold War Zombies universe. They then entered the Cold War world, still as children. They would have came here in the same year that Tag Toten took place, which was 1965. Cold War Zombies takes place in the 80s, which is 20 years later, which explains why Samantha is no longer a child. She's in her 30s now, but when she first entered the Cold War universe, she still would have been about 12, and so would Eddie. But strangely, due to Samantha's memory loss, we don't really know too much about her childhood. There isn't really anything she remembers. She vaguely remembers a boy, but she never mentions his name. Whether or not she does remember he's called Eddie, I'm unsure. Also, from what we've been told before, she doesn't really know who brought her up. She was an orphan. I would assume when she came into the Cold War universe in the 1960s, that was when she went into an orphanage. But as to who adopted her, if anyone, again, she doesn't remember. And I'm also interested to know how Weaver is involved in all of this. How does he know Eddie as well? From what Samantha's saying, Weaver knew her as a child. He also knew Eddie when he was a child as well. Something clearly went wrong where Samantha is blaming not only herself, but Weaver in a way, for Eddie's death. But again, how Eddie died, we don't know. When Samantha says to Weaver, the last thing I expected was for you to move on as quickly as you did, kind of sounds like Weaver adopted Eddie, or at least he was definitely close to him and Samantha. Otherwise, why would Samantha say, why are you moving on so quickly, if it wasn't personal for Weaver? We can tell just by Weaver and Samantha's chemistry, there is something deeper there that we don't know. They're not just friends or work associates, there is something going on. I would have thought if it was Weaver who did adopt Samantha and Eddie, we would have been told it by now, so I don't think that's the case, but there is something. I can't quite figure out what Samantha means when she says the boy was supposed to be safe in the house. That phrase has always been referred to Dr. Monty's house. Back in the old timeline, we always heard the phrase, the children will be safe in the house, being Monty's house. We're now being told that again, but surely it's not Monty's house. She does kind of elaborate on this in her secondary entry. She says, all I know for sure is that it was a war zone, one that I feared I'd never be able to escape. So her and Eddie were involved in some kind of war when they were children. If I remember correctly, there was also some other intel saying that Weaver saved them, or at least he saved Samantha. He didn't end up saving Eddie. But again, what war were they involved in as children? They would have came here in the 60s, so the only thing I can really think of is the Cold War, but for me that doesn't really add up. Maybe a war in the dark ether? I am super excited to learn more about this. So that's the new intel, but also going over the old Season 3 and Season 2 intel we have about this, because again, this gives us more of an insight on Eddie. The first one is another diary entry from Samantha, where she writes, "Sometimes I find it hard to sleep. Even though I look forward to it, when I dream, I see faces. Faces of people I care about, and faces of people that don't care for me. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between the two, but one face that stands out from all the others, the face of a child, a boy. He is lost, damaged, I want to help him, but somehow I feel that he is dangerous. Dreams are unreliable witnesses, as to am I. Sometimes I find it hard to sleep." This was Season 2 intel, I believe, where Samantha was saying that the boy, Eddie, is damaged, he's lost. She wants to help him, but she feels he is dangerous, but also at the same time, dreams are unreliable witnesses, so she doesn't know if this is true or not. And the big moment this was all revealed to us was from this audio log, which is a conversation between Maxis and Weaver.
Weaver.
Hello, Sam.
You look serious.
My colleagues tell me you've not exactly been cooperative. Or forthcoming. Instead, you've been evasive. Obtuse, even.
Ain't that just like me?
This isn't a joke, Sam. I'm worried about you. We all are.
After what I've been through, do you honestly think I'm joking?
Sam.
I thought I'd died and gone to hell. I thought everything and everyone I ever knew was gone forever.
You've been to hell before, though, Sam. We both have. I was never going to leave you there to die.
Like you did the boy.
That's not fair, Sam. That was a different situation. We both did all we could.
But not enough. He's still dead, isn't he?
I can see you're agitated, so I'm gonna let you get some rest. I hope you feel better soon. I don't want to upset you.
Why? Are you worried I'll destroy everything like you think I did at Outpost 25? Weaver!
As you've just heard, it is Samantha laying on the hospital bed in Requiem HQ. Weaver's gone in to ask her some questions, ask if she's okay. Weaver says to her, "You've been through hell before, Sam. We both have. I was never going to leave you there to die." And then Maxis replies, "Like you did the boy?" Weaver then says back, "That's not fair, Sam. That was a different situation. We both did all we could." Where Maxis finally says, "But not enough. He's still dead, isn't he?" So again, we're being told that the boy is dead. Weaver didn't save her, and neither did Sam. Surely Sam would have been a child, the same age as Eddie, so can she really blame herself? And at the same time, we still don't really know how Weaver's involved in all of this. How close was he to the boy? How did he even meet Sam and him in the first place? How did he end up dying, and why couldn't Weaver save him? And the final radio I want you guys to listen to is this one.
I don't know how or why, but I am remembering. I was angry before, and I am so sorry. That wasn't me. If it was, it really wasn't who I wanted to be. I made a promise I couldn't keep. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish I could have kept you safe. I didn't. Maybe that anger made me do things I wish I hadn't done. I may regret some, but others I meant to do. He deserves whatever damnation I have brought upon him. I hope he burns in a hell worse than mine.
It's called I Made a Promise, and as you've just heard Samantha said, I made a promise I couldn't keep. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish I could have kept you safe. I didn't. Maybe that anger made me do things I wish I hadn't have done. This kind of has me thinking, because we know there is something more to Samantha that we aren't really too sure on. She was the reason why the zombie outbreak happened at Outpost 25, which is Firebase C. She has powers, maybe powers to unleash creatures from the Dark Ether into our world. Well, what if she was the reason for the war that killed Eddie? She says, maybe the anger made me do things I wish I hadn't have done. I made a promise I couldn't keep. I couldn't have kept you safe. Was Samantha partly to blame for Eddie dying? Did she somehow get angry and cause something to happen, which resulted in his death? I don't know. And whilst I'm saying this, whilst we're being told straight up that the boy is dead, like I said at the beginning of the video, RICHTOFEN is such a big character. I just can't 100% believe they're going to kill him in documents and radios like this. Maybe there'll be a twist. Perhaps Samantha and Weaver do in fact believe he's dead, when in reality he isn't. We'll just have to wait and see. So there we go. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like, 18. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, goodbye.